let's step back in time with this month's bead box. Today's unboxing is the December Time Traveler collection from Bargain Bead Box. It's filled with nostalgic brass, moonstone, pearls, agate, and even a working pocket watch. Come along as we explore each piece and craft something special. We'll get started by looking at each little individual item first. We'll start with the first 12. Now this is the first item that you get. This is actually a working pocket watch. To open it, you would just press this little button up here at the top, and then when you do that, it pops open. So as you can see, I've already gotten mine already started to work. You can see the second hand kind of going already. It's works most of the time. Every once in a while I'll open it up again and then it'll be a different time. So this is not the actual time right now. So it does work whenever you open it, but it may not be working whenever you close it. So it doesn't matter. This is really cute. I really like this. It already comes on a chain. So it's just one of your normal chains. It already has lobster clasp and everything attached to it. It's a 30-inch long chain. So I have plans for this one. And coming back with that one here soon to potentially break up the chain and then make some links in between it and then just kind of decorate this chain. So a short, nice little tutorial is in the works. So this is bag number 2. This is a 25 by 18.5 millimeter peach moonstone teardrop pendant. So this is my pendant. And of course each pendant is going to be slightly different because they're gemstones. So I don't know if I can get it to show. There it goes. Now you can see it on there. So I have the peach moonstone, but I have like this nice little white portion right here, but you can see the chatoyance on the stone itself. And it's on the front and it's on the back. You have to kind of, wiggle it around and be able to see it on the back. But that's a really, really nice, pretty stone. So I'm thinking I might do something at the end of the tutorial with this guy. Not quite sure if I'm going to do it with this or something different, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what sparks my creativity by the end. Alright, so the rest of it I can go ahead and pick up. This bag number 3 is a 7-inch strand of anywhere between 5 and 8 millimeters by 3 and 4 millimeters cultured freshwater pearl rice beads. So these are freshwater water pearls, and you can see the differences in the sizes and everything. So that's the pearl one, and then excuse me, on my strand I ended up with about 29 of these pearls. So bag number 4 is a 15.5-inch strand of peach moonstone and sunstone nugget beads. On this strand I ended up with about 55 beads on there, and you can see the differences in the peach moonstone and the sunstone. So it's, I think, a little bit of a combination of the two, but it's so pretty. I mean, just every once in a while you could see the same chatoyance that you see on the stone here. It's like, it's so pretty. I love peach moonstone. Bag number 5 is a 7.5-inch strand of 8 millimeter champagne luster agate beads. These are going to be dyed and coated. And on my strand, I ended up with 24 of these beads. And these are just really, really pretty. You can almost not even tell that it's a gemstone. It just, they're made so nicely that they look like glass beads, but you can sit there and tell people, when if you make your jewelry and everything and sell it and all, or even if you're making it for a gift, for the holidays or something like that, you could say, no, this is an actual gemstone underneath there. It's just been coated to make it look nice and shiny and everything. So it's really pretty. I really like that. Very neat addition this month. Alrighty, we are on bag number 6 now. This is a 7-inch strand of 6 millimeter Alashan agate, which is also dyed. In this, we got a larger bead back in maybe March, I think, February or March, because I remember making a necklace with a larger, I think it was an 8 millimeter Alashan agate bead, and I no longer have that necklace. Somebody did purchase it for me. So, but I do have the video in my past videos, but I can have it linked down below too if you'd like to watch it. But I used a larger size bead and did a bead woven project with it and made a necklace. So these are really nice. I really like having that color. And look how well it works with this. I'm really excited about this. It's like, I love peach colors. I know peach is not everybody's cup of tea, but it definitely is with me and my family. Alright, bag number 7 is going to be a 5-inch strand of 8mm shell pearl, which is man-made, and they're in the color of coral pink. And look how well these pearls are made. It's like you can see the color go right up to the hole itself. It's like these are really, really, really nice pearls. I am really excited to use these. And that is like this shade of peach that just brings me happiness. I really, really, really like this color. So I'm definitely going to be making something with this. So this one, we're on G. So that is, I got 16 of these. 16 on my strand. And then on the one over here with the Alashan agate, that I ended up getting about 30. So I got 30 on this one down over here. Forgot to tell you the quantities on that one. Alright, so the next bag is bag number 8. This is a 7.5-inch strand of 6mm plated hematite, faceted beads in deep bronze. They're also man-made, but you can also tell when it's hematite. You put these in your hand, you can tell that they have a little bit of weight to them. So you can definitely tell that there's hematite in there, because hematite is much more dense than just having a glass crystal bead. But these are really, really pretty too. And I ended up with a total of 34 on my 7.5-inch strand of these guys. Your next bag is bag number 9. It is a 16-inch strand of 6x4mm crystal rondelle beads in vintage peach mix. I ended up with a total of 91 of these beads. And then those are your different colors. You got more of a gray. You have more of the cream color that's right here. Every once in a while you'll get kind of like that moody peach color. It's almost like a really, really light beige color. And then sometimes it doesn't have all the coating on it, so it's like an in-between color between the cream color and more of the beige color. So that one's kind of an in-between. I don't know. It's just, it's a really neat mix. I really like those in that color combination. Having that gray in there will also help that if you choose not to use the color of the findings in this month's pack, having that gray in there, that'll make it a lot easier to be able to add silver if that's more of what you like to design with, is a silver color. So that's another really good color mix again this month for that. Alright, so bag number 10 is a 14-inch strand of 4mm crystal faceted round beads in opaque coral. This is another really, really fun color. It looks very, very orange in the lights that I have right now, but you can definitely tell that it has some coral in it, and it goes along really, really well with the beads that's coming up here soon too. I ended up with a total of 92 on that strand. Bag number 11 is a 9.5-inch strand of 6mm English cut crystal beads in champagne luster. So there's your nice little crystals to be able to use, and it's the little English cut that we get every once in a while, so I do like having the different size, not always having rounds on the crystals and stuff like that. It's always nice to have something different. I ended up with 51 on that strand. And then here is one that I'm really, really excited about, because we have gotten similar beads in pink in the past, and I purchased from Bargain Bead Box, or Bead Box Bargains recently, some blue ones. So there's the similar pattern and everything, but they're in the color of blue. And this is, you get 10 pieces of this. It's 10mm porcelain round beads in vintage orange floral is the color. But these are really, really neat. So my plan, another plan, is to come back with these porcelain beads, the Alashan agate, these man-made pearls, and then more than likely the English cut crystals. And I'm probably going to do like a mixed media again. Try to do something that is links, but we'll do links in both wire, and then we'll do something in beadwoven too. That's my idea. Of course it may still change, but that's what I'm thinking about doing with those. So that is the first 12 bags of this month's Bargain Bead Box called Time Traveler. So meet me back and we'll go through the last set of bags. And here's a quick overview of the last 6 bags that we get in this month's box. So this is bag number 13, which is totally up my alley. I really enjoy these beads. These are really, really neat. You get 2 pieces, and they are 20 by 11 millimeter brass filigree style round links. They are lead and cadmium free, so those are just really, really pretty. You got that really neat swirly effect to them, and then the 2 links on either end. So those are really neat, and you know, they're a little heavy. They're not extremely lightweight, but you could still use them in a pair of earrings without any problem. They're just a little bit heavier. Excuse me, than some of the other things that we've gotten in the past. If you do wear them in a pair of earrings, I would almost suggest to do like a lever back ear wire, and maybe not necessarily the French hook or a fish hook or something like that, because the fish hook or a French hook may fall out of the ear a little bit easier, because like I said, these are a little bit heavier than some of the other findings that we get if you use it in a pair of earrings. So I'd suggest lever backs on that one. Bag number 14 is 6 pieces of 13 millimeter fancy 4-loop hooks. These are lead, nickel, and cadmium free. And then they are the same on the front and the back. So there are your hooks, or your links. And it's really nice because you can use it like this, where they kind of look like a diamond or a cross. And then you can also use it the way that they were sitting in there earlier, where it looks more like an X. So they're really neat. They're really fun to work with, things like that. Now these are going to be really, really fun to work with. These are 10 pieces of 8.5 by 6 millimeter round drop charms. These are also lead, nickel, and cadmium free. And these are hefty, so these are solid. They're a solid little ball, and then it just has your little loop on there for your charm. But this would be something that would be really, really nice to put on the end of a necklace, especially if you have an extender chain with your necklace. You can always put one of these in the back. It's just one of those things that kind of helps people to hold on to the chain itself whenever they're putting the necklace on, and it gives a little bit of decoration to the back of the necklace as well. Alright, so bag number 16, you get 10 pieces of 9 by 8 millimeter fancy coin spacer beads. These are also lead, nickel, and cadmium free. So there's your spacer beads, and they are a little hefty there again, and they're the same pattern on the front and the back again. It's got kind of just like a, almost looks like a piece of pie, like a pie that's been cut up into 6 different pieces. That's what the little pattern it looks like there in the center. So perfect for this time of the year, for holiday cooking and stuff. Alright, bag number 17 is 40 pieces of 7 millimeter scrolled bead caps. These are lead and cadmium free. So I believe these might be the same bead caps that we got last month, or they may be the same bead caps that we got in the companion pack. These just look really, really, really familiar. So if they're not, they're just very similar to it. But I know last month was antique copper, but this one's antique brass, so it's just a different color. But very nice, very pretty. I will probably use that in my tutorial later because I have an idea, I think, of what I'm going to make. Now on the clasp, I'm going to go ahead and pick this up. Excuse me. Now sometimes this is one of the spring ring clasps. So it's a 17 millimeter vintage style brass spring ring clasp. So sometimes you'll see 2 loops like this, and other times you'll see a 3rd loop right there. That 3rd loop, you can sometimes either use it as a double strand, if you were to have that 3rd loop on there. Because I know some people kind of get confused with that sometimes. You could do it as a double strand, or you can use it as, here's your necklace right here, but then here you can put like a drop on it or something. So I'm also kind of given some ideas that if you have a really large jump ring that you can use, then you can use this as like a focal for the front of your necklace, and then have something hanging down from that focal portion. It's just an idea. But it's your typical little spring ring, so you just push back on this, and then it opens and closes, and then this is the part that would come off. Whoops. So it just opens and closes just like a normal spring ring, and I don't think it was in focus. And then that's the part that would come off, and then you would just slide it back on. So that is the clasp that we got for this month. So it's very, very nice. I'm really excited about working with this one this month. So with that being said, I will get together a supplies needed page on the next page, and then that way if you'd like to follow along and make a pair of earrings with me, then you can. So meet me back in just a moment and we'll get started on that earring. Alright, so let's make this a companion to this cute little earring here. Then that way in a future video I can come back and show you how to use these beads plus probably a couple of others to make a necklace that would be similar to it. Alright, so we're going to be using an eye pin and a head pin. So the head pin, I have it just as a lot longer than the eye pin, only because the eye pin, this is pretty much the only one that I have in my stock that is in antique brass. Now, the eye pin portion, we're going to pick up one of our 11-0s, which I have over here off to the side on the gray mat, so that way it's a little bit easier to see. We're going to pick up one of the 11-0s, pick up one of the Alashan agates, and I hope I'm saying that close to the correct pronunciation. And then we're going to pick up another 11-0. And I've got several out on the mat because sometimes the 11-0s won't fit on the eye pins that you're going to use. So now what we want to do is make a loop on this side that's going to be about the same size as this loop on the other side. So how do you do that? Well, this is how I did mine. I took my round nose pliers and I just stuck one of my pliers in the middle of the loop down there and kind of eyeballed it and kind of said, okay, that's about where I'm going to need to make the loop for the top up here. So if you're ever working with eye pins and you have no idea how to make your loop the same size up here than it is down here, then this would be one option. And just kind of take note of where it's at, or you can get even a Sharpie and then mark it on this side, you know, where you're should have your wire lined up and everything. So I'll show you more in just a second. So the first thing we need to do is we need to bend this over. So just a little bit above that seed bead, because you don't want to break that seed bead. So just a little bit above the seed bead, just like that. We just want to gently push it over. And if it sounds like your bead's cracking, then stop, pull it backwards, and then move your pliers up a little bit and then start again, because you don't want to crack that seed bead. If you do crack the seed bead, at least it's a seed bead and it's not anything else part of your earring. So after you get it done, it'll be about a 90-degree angle, something like that. And I'm having to make sure that my seed bead stays there. It's trying to get off the ear wire. Alright, so if you need a double check onto where to put your pliers, just stick them down in the eye pin that's already there, just like that. So it kind of gives you an idea of where to go. I'll move my nails out of the way since they're bright sparkly green this month. So I'm going to put it in about that same spot, holding the wire in between the two jaws of the pliers, and then we're going to complete the loop like we typically do. So up and over till it touches on the other side, open your jaws, switch them to the top, from the top to the bottom, and then complete the loop towards the back. And when you do that, I kind of kept going a little bit, but that's okay. You should have something that looks something similar to that. Now we need to make this an actual eye pin on this side. So right around this section where it is, the two portions are touching. So you've got the straight portion right here that's actually kind of bent a little bit. That's fine, we'll fix that in a minute. But you have the straight portion right here, and then right up against it is where you want to make your little cut. So put the flush side of your pliers towards the loop portion. And then when you cut off on that, just make sure you're holding on to it or you're shielding yourself. I'm wearing contacts today. I'm not wearing my glasses today, so I've got to make sure that I'm really shielding myself. So if something flies at my face, I don't have any protection today. Then when you cut off on it, then it'll have something that looks similar to that. And of course it's kind of open still. So I'm just going to take my round nose pliers and I'm going to finish the loop and close it up some. Now it's not the exact size as the loop down there in the bottom, but it's pretty close. Now if you want to fix that, that bend, if you get a little bit of a bend like I do on mine, so I'm just going to put my pliers back in there and then I'm just going to straighten it out a little bit. until I'm happy with the way it looks. And it's just something that you have to play around with. So it's still kind of bent a little bit, but I'm okay with it. I'm happy with the way that looks. So that's how you use an eye pin and get a similar loop on the other end. Now the other one is going to be the head pin. So we're going to put on one end one of the bead caps, and then just make sure that the bead cap doesn't go through the, or that head pin doesn't go through the bead cap. If that does happen, sometimes you'll have to put a bead, so you can put one of your 11-0 seed beads down here at the bottom. That sometimes will help keep it from going through. Or sometimes other times you'll have to just get either another head pin or one that has a bigger flat portion down here at the bottom. Then we're going to pick up our porcelain bead and another bead cap. And then now we're going to make a loop in a similar way that I do most of my loops. So I'm going to put my chain nose pliers on the head pin and then have the left hand side of the pliers line up with the left hand side of the larger part of the bead. And then I'm going to push over. Change to my round nose pliers, stick my round nose pliers in about the same spot. So that way, whoops, when it's sitting correctly, the left hand side of a round nose pliers is just about lined up with the left hand side of the larger bead that is sitting there, and then go up and over like you typically would. These things keep sliding in my hand today. And then push this all the way back, just like you would a normal loop. Alright, so now we're going to complete the wrapped loop portion. And I'm probably going to go around at least 3 times, more than likely 4. I ended up doing 4 times on this little guy. So it's going to be at least 3 times, maybe 4. If that's too much for you, then you can always make your loop a little bit smaller, or your length in between your loop and your bead cap is smaller. This is just the way that I prefer to do it. So now I'm going to continue to do this. And I'm just holding on with my flat nose. I feel like it's easier for me to hold on with the flat nose because it's got more of a surface to it. And I can hold on to the loops a lot easier and then twist with my left hand. Alright, so that is 3 loops, or wraps, sorry, 3 wraps around the wire. And I don't want to make it too tight. There we go. So that still has a little bit of movement and everything, which is what I prefer. I like to have a little bit of movement in my jewelry. I like to hear the little tinging when I'm wearing it. Alright, so flush side of the pliers towards the product, holding on to it again. Put the little piece off to the side. Grab your chain nose pliers again and try to tuck that little portion in just a little bit. I mean, it's an earring, so it's probably not going to bother too many people. If this was a necklace, then you definitely want to, or a bracelet, you definitely want to make sure that that little portion gets tucked in. Now it's assembly time. So we're going to open up one of these loops on our eye pin that we used. Slide on the porcelain bead drop that we just made, and then close up that loop. There we go. And then here on this side, you can either open up the loop if you want, or you can open up the loop on the ear wire. So I'm using some lever back ear wires that are nickel free. We got these in a previous Bargain Bead Box. I don't remember what month, because I don't have this bag listed. I just know it came from Bargain Bead Box, just because of the sticker that was on the front of the bag. And then, it's being difficult, doesn't want to go all the way back. There we go. Heard it click. And then there is your little earring made. So when you get your second one done, then you have a nice pair of porcelain and Alashan agate earrings. The Time Traveler box had some gorgeous surprises today, and these earrings were such a fun start. I can't wait to start designing the matching necklace. If you want the next tutorial, hit like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments, should I stick with mixed media or just wire working?